Hey, hey, testing 1, 2. Good morning to all the good people. I don't even know if my camera's set up all the way properly, but good morning to all the good people. This Thursday, March 11th, 2021. Good morning from your favorite mayoral candidate, Aaron Benjamin Miles, Rise of the Good People. Let me fix this camera. There we go. That's right. It's your favorite mayoral candidate, Aaron Benjamin Miles, Rise of the Good People, as you can see right there. That's the campaign. This is my docu-series before becoming mayor of NYC. Aaron Benjamin Miles, independent candidate, 110th mayor of New York City, Aaron Benjamin Miles. Aaron Benjamin Miles. You know I have to drill that, right? Got to keep drilling that name. Aaron Benjamin Miles. 110th mayor of New York City. The rise of the good people. My people, we are rising. Good people, we rising. The ancestors are hard at work. They all around. Let me do my moment of silence for the Most High. Moment of silence for the Most High. Yeah, then I have to take another moment of silence for all of our ancestors who are so hard at work and without whose guidance, wisdom, and protection we would not be here. A moment of silence to pay respect to our ancestors. Oh, that feels so good. Good morning, people. Aaron Benjamin Miles, Rise of the Good People, 110th Mayor of New York City. Unfortunately, for 49 other candidates, that's an unfortunate fact that Aaron Benjamin Miles is the 110th Mayor of New York City. So they'll all have to wait to become the 111th Mayor of New York City because 110, that's Aaron Benjamin Miles. And there are 49 other candidates. I have a list. I call it the list of the losers. And unfortunately for them, the ancestors have commissioned me to enter into this race, and they've already determined the outcome. The ancestors move just like these advocates of the white agenda. And by the way, but before this video ends, you'll hear some static and hissing in the sound in my voice, and that's just YouTube trying to disrupt the beautiful things that I'm going to say over the course of this video because they are also advocates of the white agenda. That's why we're going to be creating our own website called The Nonsense, where you will be free to express yourself without any fear of being censored by any advocate of the white agenda. Aaron Benjamin Miles, 110th Mayor of New York City, independent candidate, docu-series before becoming mayor of NYC, will soon be coming available on Amazon Prime Video on Demand. I'll let you know when we start uploading the content on there. And we're still doing that economic relief employment initiative for my peoples out there who, need an extra $1,000 in their pocket real quick. All my people that need some extra money, because times are hard. These advocates of the white agenda, they putting the pressure on our community. They doing that redlining again. They redistributing all this wealth with that stimulus package, but it is not finding its way to our community. And I hope you're not surprised by that, because that's the way it's always been. And they're not going to change overnight. These advocates of the white agenda, they have their plan is very, very well defined to maintain power, control, and domination over everyone who's not a part of their little group. So every time they redistribute this wealth, they're going to only hand it to the people that's part of their little circle. So if you hurting out there and you could use an extra $1,000, all you got to do is email riseofthegoodpeople@gmail.com. All you'll have to do to get $1,000 is take my petition sheet and go get me 10 signatures. That's all I'm going to ask you to do. And I'm going to give you a check for $1,000. Go get me 10 signatures. You get $1,000. You can do that in probably 20, 30 minutes. I ain't making it hard for my people. I'm going to make it easy for my people. We're going to share some of this economic relief. We're going to share some of this economic resources that New York City has an abundance of. I'm about to remove all the barriers to these economic resources. Y'all going to be so amazed how easy it's going to be to get money. When I become the mayor, when I get in that Gracie Mansion, 110th mayor of New York City, ain't going to be no time to chase no crime. The crime going to drop. Crime going to drop dramatically because people going to be too busy chasing legitimate opportunity. When you chasing legitimate opportunity to get this money that could pay your bills and feed your family and live a life of comfort, you ain't wasting your time chasing no crime. Trust me. I know all my intelligent savages out there that's doing these crimes. They only doing it because, the advocates of the white agenda is not giving them any other options. They're not opening no other doors for my intelligent savages out there. And my intelligent savages, we think the same. We're not going to starve because you say so. We're not going to let our families starve and live in discomfort because you said so. Come on, crazy? We don't move like that. Nah, we're going to go do what we got to do. You know what I mean? To live the life that we want to live like kings, right? But if there's a choice between achieving this goal by legal means versus illegal means, any intelligent savage is taking the legal means. You don't want to put your life in danger for no reason, right? So watch crime drop when I remove the barriers to all these legitimate opportunities, right? Today's topic is going to be about the absence of common sense amongst Democratic and Republican parties. There's an absence of just common sense. They have no common ground. When it comes to the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party, they have no common grounds. They have no common interests. And they have no common sense. Once I put it like that, common sense, it comes into focus of what it means. It means senses that you both agree on in common. These two parties have gotten to the point that how both parties identify and brand themselves is by finding views in opposition of one another. I'm going to say that again. This is the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party. And that's why I'm an independent. That's why I don't want to be a part of either one of them, because I'm trying to find solutions and unify people. And I'm going to tell you why that's such a threat to the advocates of the white agenda. But when it comes to the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party, how both parties identify and brand themselves is by finding views in opposition of one another. It's almost like religions now, right? Remember, and that's why religion was supposed to be separate from politics, I guess. You know, all of the different denominations of the religions, none of them can agree on, you know, all of these spiritual concepts and philosophies. So there's so much division amongst, you know, religion, because they all want to believe their view is the right view, and they don't want to find a common view to all embrace so that, you know, they can come together. Politics is just like religion right now. The Democrats and the Republican parties always find views in opposition of one another. They never find anything in common. If you ask both of them, what color is the sky? They'll find a way to come up with an answer where they can't even agree that the sky is blue. I guarantee you, try it. They wouldn't even agree that the sky is blue. They can't agree that the American people right now are in such, you know, in such bad condition that they should pass this relief package, this stimulus bill. They can't agree on that. And another reason for that is because they're not being affected by the conditions that the American people are being affected by. They still getting all of their pay, salary, money, paying their bills, eating good. Then they sit down in there and they legislate over the bill, and, you know, they keep passing it back and forth like they playing, you know, volleyball or something, while the American people is drowning. One of them feels like, you know, we need an increase in our minimum wage. The other one feels like, no, they don't need no increase. And they doing that on purpose. That's the thing y'all don't realize. They doing it on purpose, see, because all of them, like I said, are unaffected by these conditions that we're suffering from. So it makes them no difference. Sitting there and do that all day. They have no common sense. We need people with common sense right now who could really find the solutions, the common solutions, to help, you know, the masses of the people. That's why I can't mess with them. I was like, nah. When I was trying to figure out what platform I would run on as a candidate to become the next mayor of New York City, I was like, nah, I'm not messing with the Democrats or the Republicans. Both of those parties is all messed up. They so compromised because I believe they're both being directed by the advocates of the white agenda to keep the division and the separation within the people. You know, it's like coming up with one idea and knowing there'll be some people that won't agree with that idea, so you just create an opposing idea just to attract the other people. And so you have, you know, a way to keep them divided. There's always going to be some people that don't agree with something, so you just create the other. You know, I guess, you know, this is the nature of balance, and we need that. Nature is always going to create balance, right? You can't have hot or appreciate hot without cold. It has to exist. right? You cannot appreciate love without hate. So the nature of balance makes it so. And that's why we're in such a special place in time, because we're very balanced right now. See how the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are absolutely split down the middle? 50-50, right? Hot and cold, love and hate, good and bad, split down the middle. Ah, we need it like that. We couldn't appreciate one without the other. If it wasn't for the Republican Party continuously denying the assistance that we need as people, we couldn't appreciate the Democratic Party trying to, establish that, right? But still, at the end of the day, we need some common sense to be established. And neither party can offer that. Neither party can offer the common ground. Neither party can define the common interest, because the way they're set up, they intentionally look for the opposition to one another, right? They're not looking for common ground, common interest, common sense. That's going to be my job. I'm going to be like the tiebreaker. The tiebreaker has to come up with the common sense, the common interest, and the common ground necessary to solidify the unification of all of our brothers and sisters. Because as long as that's absent, the advocates of the white agenda will have their way. They'll keep dividing our community up for their own benefit, to maintain power, control, and domination over all of us. Aaron Benjamin Miles. I don't know, you might be starting to hear the fizzly, the staticky sound in my voice and everything. YouTube, you putting it on yet, the filter? You got it? Your time is limited too, buddy. When the nonsense comes out, it's going to do all the same things your website does. YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, they all do the same thing. There's no difference anymore. They all copied each other's platforms and features to where they all do the same thing. So now the only difference between these websites is the name. None of the features and none of the technology within the applications are proprietary anymore. So I'm creating a website that does all the same stuff that their websites do, and it's going to be called The Nonsense. And the main attraction to the nonsense is going to be, you can come there and feel free to express yourself without any fear of being censored, because so many people are complaining about how these guys are censoring us for nothing. Well, it feels like nothing, because most people are only familiar or looking at it from the point of view of, I didn't do anything illegal. I didn't break any laws. I didn't curse. I didn't threaten anybody. I didn't try to start a riot, right? But you got to become familiar with this white agenda. I think they're more sensitive about you violating the white agenda than they might be about you violating any laws. They might take that more as more of a threat. And so when you do things that try to make your people come together, when you do things that try to make people feel empowered, when you do things that make people feel uplifted and inspired, that's a threat to the white agenda, because they want you to stay depressed. They want you to stay depressed. They want you to stay without hope. They want you to stay at their mercy and submissive, right? So anything you do that opposes that, see, when you start to hear it, verbally spoken, it might start making sense. Yeah, that stuff I was doing was inspiring people. It was making people feel good about themselves, make people feel empowered. They don't want that. They don't want you rising up or making people rise up feeling like, they deserve more. They deserve better. They're gonna be like, stop that video. Shut them down. They doing that too well. They making other people copy them, and it's starting a trend of people trying to inspire people. We don't need that. That's going to make them come together and rise up and want to ask for more. They're going to want more money. They're going to want more freedom. They're going to want a better quality of life. We can't afford to give them that. We want to keep everything the way it is. We got to keep things. We trying to make America great again, like back in slavery time, where we had them under the whip. That was a good old time. Why can't we just bring that back and put them under the whip? That ain't never coming back, my friend. All of my brothers and sisters, white, Asian, black, Hispanic, that you got oppressed, they feel it deep down in their soul. That's not the way they're supposed to be living life. They want what they feel they deserve, which is the same thing you have, but you're trying to have it in exclusion. You want this exclusive luxury, this exclusive comfort. You're trying to make it exclusive to you and your history and your traditions and your culture. But people know that's something's wrong with that picture. And they're not going to lie down for it anymore, because they're starting to see as they come together, even though it's happening in subtle little spurts, they feel that power. Power. Whoo! Listen, white advocates of the white agenda. The ancestors inspired me to let you know history was yours. We will share the present, but the future is ours. The future belongs to God's diverse family of brothers and sisters. The future is filled with inclusion, diversity, equity. We will have it. As you see, it's getting more and more difficult to maintain things the way they were. And all of your sophisticated strategies, techniques, it's slowly falling apart, because the main element that really gave you all of your power has faded away, which is confidentiality. That ability to go in a closed room and manipulate the rules in your favor. See, everyone's watching now around the world. We have so many eyes that we always have somebody that's watching what you're doing. And they're going to report back to the rest of us. So you'll never be able to have this confidentiality anymore. You redacting things off the transcript. Even when you wait 30, 40 years to give us the transcripts of however you came up with your decisions or whatever you do, you dedact all the information now where it's still, you haven't released the information. You use a black marker too, because you love that black confidentiality, that privacy in that dark room where nobody can see in there. We can't see what you're doing. That's finished. In a minute, you're not even going to be able to dedact any of the information out so that you could distort the time record. See, that's what I call it, the time record. You call it history because it's your story. Everything that we know about the time record is based on your story. And your story is full of manipulation of the facts. You take the facts, but you twist them all up and you manipulate them and you do things to them. And then it's not quite the way things happen. It's kind of the way you want to depict things to have happened, where you come out on top all the time, right? Those days are over, Mr. Advocate of the white agenda. My family of brothers and sisters of all colors are waking up. And we are very inspired. We are very inspired, especially for the future of our children. We are very inspired that they will have the future that they deserve. And so, as the ancestors has inspired me and instructed me to the fact, history was yours. We will share the present, but the future is ours. Insha Allah. Amen. Ra. So take that the way you want to take it. I know it's not going to sit well with you. You know, you're there and you're working so hard to, get control of things. Be careful with that outcome of that Derek Chauvin trial. You better make the right rulings in that thing, because it doesn't matter what jurors you put up there to try to manipulate the outcome. If that outcome ain't what the people feel it should be, there's going to be another swelling of unification amongst communities of color that you will not be able to maintain with your armed forces. And the only thing that's really bad about the situation is that it's here on your own homeland, home turf, home soil. So you're usually used to going over abroad and violating people in their own lands where none of your loved ones are in danger. You like to keep them over here nice and safe and send the soldiers over there. That's why you always fight wars abroad, so that only their families are in danger. But over here, it's different. The people haven't really come up to that level yet, but it's coming. It's evolving, to where eventually they're going to go, wait a minute, aren't there families over here too? We need destinations for these marches. We need to have designated places to march to. And in a minute, they're going to start identifying your loved ones and the locations where they live. And these marches are going to take place, and they're going to be marching to these places where your loved ones live and surrounding those places. And you don't got enough soldiers to send them to all of the residences and locations of all of your loved ones to control those humongous crowds that's going to show up. You better stop playing with your own safety. Inshallah. This is not me speaking. This is the ancestors speaking through me. Inshallah. Right? I'm different. Aaron Benjamin Miles. 110th Mayor of NYC. Rise of the good people. Aaron Benjamin Miles. 110th Mayor of New York City. Before becoming mayor of NYC. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful time. I love New York City, and I love all of my brothers and sisters, and I love how we're all waking up. New York City savages We political now. You feel me? Holla.